one of leading digital solutions for Africa's progress. We believe strongly in that everyone deserves the benefits of a modern connected life. I think the professor has really outlined our purpose in more detail in terms of how connected societies are important going forward in terms of infrastructure particularly. We see growth and transformation in Africa as being closely linked to greater digital and financial inclusion. And this, ladies and gentlemen, we believe goes beyond connectivity. As a Pan-African business, we understand the continent's development depends not only on the investment in infrastructure, but also in its people and institutions. As such, we actively support Africa's progress through dialogue, engagement, investment in leadership, and institutional capacity. As many of you may remember, we started our business in 1994 at the dawn of South Africa's democracy. We now operate in 16 markets, 15 of which are in the African continent. We have nearly 300 million subscribers. We provide digital access and are helping to bridge the digital and financial inclusion divide. We're also unlocking financial freedoms through our fintech offerings. Beyond our direct investment of products and services, we are humble to driving the economic growth of this continent. We are doing this through infrastructure investments, skills development, local operations, and various investments that we invest throughout the continent. Through our comprehensive nation states program, which is really led by our chairman, we support the national development priorities of our host countries. Corporates everywhere, like we've just heard, and most particularly in Africa, carry significant responsibility to enable social and environmental change. This is not different to MTN. We incorporate issues such as ethical and effective leadership, empowering women and youth, upholding digital human rights, and also making sure that we reduce our environmental footprint. We acknowledge this enables role in society, and we take this responsibility very seriously. In line with our strategic intent of leading digital solutions for Africa's progress, we stand ready to accelerate our engagement with all of you today, and we look forward to even greater dialogue ahead. We believe that when Africa connects, Africa rises. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Siswam. Thank you very much for that commitment and brief view about MTN stand for. I think it's quite critical for us to take note and to also continue to show on the organization and the work that they do as well on the continent. As we move along, we'd like to call the executive trustee, Mayor Gugu Motlanthe, to also give her remarks on behalf of the foundation. May you please give a round of applause.
When things don't go okay, it's my fault and my problem, so you saw me running up and down. Anyway, Master of Ceremonies and Director of the BMF, Monden Lovu, former President Halima Motlanthe and patron of the Halima Motlanthe Foundation. The Deputy Minister is about to join us because Comrade Enoch, overnight, something happened. Yeah, from finance. Chairperson of the Halima Motlanthe Foundation is also going to join us shortly. I actually wanted to joke with him, but he will be the incoming police minister, and once he's sworn in, he will be a full minister. He will not act. There will be no acting. Director General in the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, Mr. Zain Dengo, welcome. Chief Commissioner of the International Trade Administration Commission, I'm not sure if he's here, Mr. Ayabonga Tawe, but he's on his way also. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me at this moment to acknowledge the in-kind support from MTN made to the JSE that has allowed KMF to host the winter seminar today. The leadership of MTN, represented by MTN Chairperson, Mr. Mcebisi Jonas, who is also the South African Special Envoy to North America and a former Deputy Minister of Finance. And you've just heard from Ms. Mpilo Morafo, MTN Group Chief Sustainability and Corporate Affairs Officer. And then I'm continuing with acknowledgements. I'm not sure if he's here, former Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies, Mr. Philemon Mapulane, Mr. James Lekoma and Mr. Maurizio Mariano, our KMF trustees that are present today. Founder of the Gordon Institute of Business, Professor Nick Benadel. The Director of Champagne Sports Resort, Mr. Roger McKay. Roger, in less than 3 months, the KMF will be hosting the 2025 KMF Drakensberg Inclusive Growth Forum, starting on Friday 10th to Sunday 12th October at the Champagne Sports Resort. Welcome, Roger. ABSA Group, represented by Dr. Stephen Zwane, Managing Executive, ABSA Corporate Citizenship. ABSA will be the principal sponsor of the 2025 Drakensberg Inclusive Growth Forum this year. Group Senior Executive of Aspen, Pharmacare and BRICS Business Council member, Mr. Stavros Nikolaou. Principal of the National School of Government, Professor Busani Ngaweni. CEO of the OR Tambo School of Leadership, Mr. Franz Matlala. Ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps. Deputy Ambassadors of the European Union Delegation, Mr. Fulgencio Garrido Ruz. Welcome, sir. Ambassador of the Central African Republic and Dean of the African Heads of Diplomatic Missions, Mr. Andre Nzapayeke. Welcome. Ambassador Thabo Tahe, Ambassador Kingsley Makubela, Ambassador Pule Malifane, diplomats present, Dr. Kulumbata, the corporate sector, and all from academia, members of the media, KMF staff, MTN staff, JSC staff, and members of the SAPS present today. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Thank you for being with us today. As most of you may already know, the KMF builds and provides spaces that are safe, open, and an inclusive environment for free thought, honest dialogue, and bold ideas. Here today, there are no closed sessions. Everyone has a voice and everyone belongs. It was at one of our previous sessions at the KMF Drakensberg Inclusive Growth Forum in 2023, in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, that Mcebisi Jonas coined the phrase reset agenda, and Professor Miriam Altman said in her presentation that South Africa needed a national dialogue. It is about to become a reality, an idea that emanated from our very own platforms. The Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation has a heartfelt commitment to serve. As a registered public benefit organization under Section 18A, our work is rooted in the founding trust deed to uplift the South African public through education, training, welfare, and compassionate support. Foundations are established for a specific purpose. Precisely because there are many of these foundations, it is important for each one to be clear of its purpose, to distinguish it from the other. There's enough room for many more foundations to exist, for each to make a humble contribution towards South Africa and a just socio-economic system. Our work, more importantly, also includes women empowerment, training for educators, financial literacy, and even CETA-accredited agricultural education for learners in public schools. Throughout the year, we walk alongside young South Africans, particularly those in public schools, offering not just opportunities, but trust, encouragement, and space to grow. Among them are young minds shaped who are politically aware, that need all of us to rally behind and invest more. They are sharp, curious, impressionable, and hungry to make sense of the world. I am delighted to inform you that we strive to echo the voices of young people, women, educators, and families, voices we have listened to on the ground in communication across Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, the Western Cape, and beyond. At the Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation, we believe in nurturing young minds with care, intention, and imagination. Our extracurricular programs are youthfully designed as an interconnected ecosystem where learning goes beyond the classroom and becomes a journey of curiosity and empowerment. We offer young people exposure to a range of forward-looking fields, including digital skills, electronics and coding, artificial intelligence, drones, agriculture, robotics, what we call the new industrial age, as well as the creative arts, well-being and skills development. All of these elements come together to help build a future that is not only sustainable, but also deeply inclusive. Our work is strengthened through collaboration with individuals and institutions like today, that share a vision of dignity, innovation, and opportunity for all. Last year, at the United Nations General Assembly, the note by the Secretary General on the Third Industrial Development Decade for Africa, it was announced that the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa has partnered with the Kgalema Motlanthe Foundation in a pilot project for the construction of a youth digital skills enhancement and multipurpose center in South Africa. The rezoning tribunal for this construction project has taken an entire year to approve the KMF application. It is only now in July 25 that the KMF has been given the go-ahead to implement this project. The foundation is about youth, and there needs to be more investment in youth. We warmly invite you to visit the foundation to see and feel the work for yourself. Moving on to this morning's event, let me say that we find ourselves in a deeply complex and uncertain time. We are at a tipping point in history, with the world beset by great changes unseen in a century. A memorable phase by President Xi Jinping. And the fierce urgency of now, used by Dr. Martin Luther King. We are not facing just one crisis, but many at once. They overlap, they interact, and they make it harder to see a clear way forward. In fact, nations appear to be growing more distant from one another. We see tensions between major powers, like the ongoing trade and technology disputes between the US and China. Economic tools once used to build and support global development are being weaponized in the political arena. At the same time, some countries that once were champions of democracy and human rights are undoing the gains they fought hard to achieve. Populism and extremism are on the rise, while empathy seems to be in short supply. And in too many cases, the cries of people suffering, think of Palestine, Sudan, and the Eastern Congo, are met with silence or indifference. Africa continues to stand at the margins, still knocking on half-open doors, still asking to be heard, still working to shape a future that reflects our dignity, our voice, and our place in the world. And yet there's hope. This is a time for reflection, for honesty, and for bold compassion. We must present at all these tables and must be an integral part of setting the African agenda. Here at home, it often feels like we are a nation suspended in time, a people forever waiting. We waited for the elections. We are still waiting now, waiting for fairness, waiting for dignity, and waiting for change. Now, with the formation of the GNU, we wait again, hoping that this moment brings not just a shift in leadership, but a change in how we are seen, heard, and served. But while we wait, something precious is quietly slipping away. Opportunities are fading, fairness feels distant, and too many of our people are being left behind, unseen, unheard, and counted only in numbers, not in worth. What many of the current leaders are failing to recognize is this: people are tired of the empty promises, tired of the party dynamics and infighting. It's not that we believe leadership is defined by age. Far from it. But what we long for and are saying is that we need more youthful leaders. Leaders who are bold, youthful in imagination, have urgency, are committed to transformative change, and can bring fresh perspectives to governance and carry the aspirations of a new era. The youth must be empowered with real responsibility, not as a gesture, but as a necessity. Otherwise, they will forever not be ready, because a society that withholds responsibility from its youth is delaying its own progress. Parliament, as the place where our voices are meant to converge, must offer a shared vision of what this country can be. This is the minimum we hope for from this new chapter, a spirit that rises above party lines and puts people first. Here is the thing: no meaningful struggle has ever been led by the unaware. It is those who have seen clearly, who have known struggle, who understand the truth, who often lead us to something better. The rest of us just adapt, sometimes without even knowing it, to systems and conditions we never chose. Today, far too many of our people are choosing to leave, hoping to find dignity and opportunity elsewhere. Some are falling prey to job scams and human trafficking. Others find themselves lost and stranded across oceans, or caught in harmful spaces on social media where desperation is exploited. And yet we seem to move on without a pause, unaware of how much we are losing in this quiet exodus: young minds, bright futures, hands that could have helped build the South Africa we all dream of. Can we find a way back to one another? Can we restore the balance, not just of power, but of compassion and conscience? Only then can we begin to build a truly just society, one where fairness is not an aspiration, but a lived reality for everyone. Civil society organizations are raising their voices, taking to the streets, asking for the same thing: that we see each other, that we hear one another, that we remember what it means to care and act. Are we ready to listen? Today, we are not here to stay silent. We are gathered because we see what's happening around us, and we can no longer pretend that it's normal. We are not here to accuse, but to awaken, not to destroy, but to ask, can we do better, and if so, how? We speak today because the system is not serving everyone. We speak because transformation cannot happen in silence. We speak because too many are being left behind and still told to be patient, as if patience alone could build homes, fix schools, create jobs, or restore dignity. But what has all this waiting brought us? Still we wait. Still we struggle. Still our people bury their dreams before they even begun. It feels as though we are stuck, repeating a cycle of crisis and disappointment. The same people, the same excuses, the same broken promises, a small group at the center while so many remain at the edges. And we ask gently but firmly, when will it be enough? We don't need another familiar promise. What we need is a new kind of thinking, a new kind of leadership, one rooted in empathy, justice, and a real sense of urgency. Instead of asking people how to fix what is broken, perhaps we should ask, what can we imagine that's entirely new? A way forward that includes young people as co-creators, not just spectators, a system that doesn't just ask for votes, but invites leadership from the ground up, a future that speaks where we are going, not just where we've been. And as one communist practitioner once wrote, every economic phase has a political phase corresponding to it. It would be impossible to touch private property unless a new mode of political life be found at the same time. In other words, we cannot just change one part of the system and expect everything else to follow. We need to reimagine it all together. And as we do, we must also recognize the past is still with us, the wounds have not fully healed, the promise of our democracy remains partly fulfilled. We cannot afford to become a country that simply goes through the motions, trapped in what some call the garbage time of history, where nothing really moves and nothing really changes, suspended in time. But here is the truth. This moment, while heavy, is also filled with possibility. It is dangerous, yes, but also full of hope if we choose to act. We've shown before in our darkest times that we are capable of courage, creativity, and resilience. Now is the time to remember that fire, to believe once again that we can shape something better. Let us not become the generation whose dreams were quietly postponed. Let us rise together in honesty, in unity, and hope to build our beloved country, South Africa, and the world that will work for everyone. I thank you.